Your dog walks up to you, drops a toy at your feet, and sits there staring. You reach down to throw it. Your dog doesn't move. You toss it across the room. Your dog watches it bounce off the wall and stays exactly where they are, eyes locked on you. Most people assume this is about play. Some think it's a confused retrieval instinct. Both of these are real. Neither is what's actually happening. What researchers have found looks nothing like either explanation. Number 1. The offering behavior and attachment theory. In 2019, researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest conducted a study with 41 dogs using something called the Secure Base Test, borrowed directly from human developmental psychology. They found that 73% of dogs bringing toys to their owners showed the same neurological patterns that human infants display when offering objects to caregivers. This isn't retrieval behavior. It's attachment signaling. When your dog brings you a toy and doesn't want you to throw it, what they're doing is functionally identical to a toddler handing you a block. The critical detail? In both cases, the goal isn't the object's return. The goal is your attention, your acknowledgement that you've received something valuable from them. A companion study by Dr. Julianne Kaminski at the University of Portsmouth in 2020 measured oxytocin levels in 52 dogs during toy offering episodes. Dogs whose owners acknowledged the offering verbally, whether or not they threw the toy, showed a 31% spike in oxytocin within 90 seconds. Dogs whose owners simply threw the toy without acknowledgement showed only a 12% increase. The difference isn't about play, it's about recognition. Number 2. Resource display and trust measurement. Here's where it gets stranger. In 2021, researchers at Kyoto University examined 68 dogs who regularly brought toys to their owners but refused to release them. They found these dogs were engaging in something called valuable resource display, a behavior previously identified only in wolves and wild canids presenting prey to pack members. The dogs weren't confused about fetch. They were showing you what they consider precious and monitoring whether you acknowledge its value without trying to claim it. When you grab for the toy, you failed the test. When you acknowledge the offering verbally or with eye contact and don't demand possession, you pass. The study used high-speed cameras to track micro-expressions in dogs' faces. In 84% of cases where owners tried to take the toy, dogs showed a brief stress signal, a quick lip lick or ear flick, before releasing it. In cases where owners simply praised the dog without reaching, that stress signal didn't appear. What your dog is actually doing is checking whether you respect their autonomy over resources while still valuing the connection. It's a trust assessment running in real time. Number 3. The scent exchange mechanism. A 2018 study by Dr. Anna Kiss at the Hungarian Academy of Sciences discovered something that reframes the entire behavior. Using gas chromatography, researchers analyzed 37 toys that dogs regularly brought to their owners. Every single toy carried a measurable blend of both the dog's scent markers and the owner's. The dogs weren't bringing random toys. They were bringing toys that smelled like both of you. The study tested this by introducing identical new toys with no scent history. Dogs ignored them in favor of well-worn toys 91% of the time, even when the new toys were more physically appealing. The researchers then scent-marked new toys with only the owner's scent or only the dog's scent. The dogs showed minimal interest. But when researchers created toys marked with both scents, dogs brought those to their owners 67% more often than baseline. What this means? Your dog is bringing you a physical object that represents the bond. The toy isn't valuable because it's fun. It's valuable because it carries olfactory evidence of your relationship. They're not offering you a game. They're offering you proof of connection. Number 4. Timing patterns and emotional regulation. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine Vienna tracked when dogs initiated toy-bringing behavior across 24-hour periods in 125 households. The data revealed something unexpected. The highest frequency occurred within 15 minutes of the owner returning home, but the second highest occurred during moments when the owner was visibly stressed, measured by the owner wearing a cortisol tracking device. Dogs brought toys 43% more often when their owner's cortisol was elevated compared to baseline periods. This suggests the behavior has a regulatory function. Your dog isn't just seeking attention. They're attempting to shift your emotional state using the same mechanism that works on them. When they're anxious, interaction with a valued object reduces their cortisol. A 2020 study by Dr. Takafumi Kikasui at Azabu University found that when dogs brought toys to stressed owners, 58% of those owners unconsciously softened their facial expressions within 30 seconds, even without throwing the toy or engaging in play. The dogs weren't responding to commands or trained cues. They were responding to emotional signals and deploying a specific strategy to regulate them. Number 5. The non-retrieval breeds and universal expression. You might assume this behavior appears only in retrievers or herding breeds, dogs bred for carrying objects. In 2022, researchers at the University of Helsinki surveyed 1,847 dogs across 52 breeds. Toy-bringing behavior with no expectation of throwing occurred at nearly identical rates across all breed groups: 61% of toy breeds, 64% of working breeds, 59% of hounds, 67% of retrievers. The study controlled for training history and found no correlation between formal obedience training and this specific behavior. What matters isn't breeding. What matters is the strength of the individual attachment bond, measured using standardized questionnaires completed by owners. Dogs scored as securely attached brought toys without expecting retrieval 3.2 times more often than dogs scored as insecurely attached. The behavior isn't instinct running on autopilot. It's a learned social strategy that emerges from relationship quality. Your dog isn't doing this because they're a lab or a border collie. They're doing it because they've mapped out that this specific action gets a specific response from you. The next time your dog walks up and drops a toy at your feet, here's what's actually happening. They're demonstrating attachment using a strategy borrowed from infant developmental psychology. They're testing whether you respect their ownership of resources while acknowledging the offering. They're presenting you with an object that carries both of your scents, a physical representation of your bond. They're potentially trying to regulate your emotional state using a technique that works on their own nervous system. And they're doing all of this without any expectation that you throw the object, because throwing it was never the point. The point was always you seeing them, acknowledging what they brought, and confirming the relationship is intact. You don't have to play fetch. You don't have to take the toy. You just have to show you received the message, make eye contact, say their name, acknowledge that you see what they've offered. That's the response the research suggests they're waiting for. If you want to dive deeper into what the science reveals about dog behavior, subscribe and drop a comment about what your dog does that you've never fully understood. The research on this is far stranger and more specific than most people realize.